Hey guys, welcome to Herding Little Cows to the Glory of God. I'm Sarah and this is Elisha. Hi. We have not done many videos recently because life has just been really crazy. So this is an update video and then I'll talk a little about the homeschooling videos I've been doing. I am getting this video done while one daughter is in the shower. Other people are watching a kids cartoon called Theo, which is like Christian-based cartoon. Someone's washing dishes, somebody is cleaning up something else. Everyone's doing things. And I was like, hey, I have a minute to do a quick video. So why we haven't been doing videos recently? Life has been super busy in a good way. We have officially finished our homeschool year for the state of Maine. So today I need to finish writing my report so that I can then talk to the teacher about what we have done this year. For people who have asked about homeschooling in Maine, we need to have our work observed by a, Maine certified teacher. And so I have that Maine certified teacher and I'm putting my stuff together so that I can show what we have done, the different curriculums. You don't have to go by a certain curriculum, and at the start of the year you don't have to say here's what curriculum I'm doing, but at the end of the year I tell our teacher how we accomplished the work. So I'll say math, we used this book and we supplemented with this book, that type of thing. So I've got those records together. For our family, we only technically have 4 students. Naomi is 18, but she already graduated, so I don't have anything to do for her. You can't have the thing. And then Samuel is 15, Josiah is 12, almost 13, Abigail is 10, and Uriah is 7, almost 8. I also do school with Malachi and Gideon, specifically Malachi because he already reads and all of that stuff, but I do not have to do any state records for him yet. So I'm just not sending anything to the state. When he turns 6, we have to start homeschooling per state law. So I will send something to the state saying, yes, I will start homeschooling Malachi, but I only have to tell them how old he is. I do not have to go by grade level. So we can start him like when he's 6, if he's doing 2nd grade work, I don't have to tell them he's in 2nd grade. I can just say he is 5 years old, or he's gonna be 6 years old when I report it. So that's how that works. So I have to get the rest of that together. I've already contacted the teacher and done what I need to do. I just have to get the rest of the paperwork to her. So what else? Mark's mom is still staying with us. If you've seen in some of the videos, we had mentioned her, and I might have mentioned that we didn't know at that time how long she was staying, but she's still staying with us, which is great. We're loving it, and we're taking her to do all the things. So we've been really busy. We actually just went up back to near her place the other day. Mark's dad lives up. Mark's mom and dad have been divorced for years, but everybody gets along great. So we all go visit together. So we all went up to visit Mark's dad yesterday and play at the beach. We love the beach up there. It is on the side of the harbor. It's across from Acadia. So you can look across and see the mountains. You get the beauty of Maine, but you're not in the busy part of our harbor. I have a little guy on the floor. I might have to correct him depending what he goes to do. So that's been really good. She's been staying with us and yeah, just doing all the things, but trying to get used to having someone else in the house, which leads to our next thing of I'm starting our next school year. In the state of Maine, we have to homeschool for 175 days, 80 days. I don't remember. We do more than that, but I do it in a time lapse of 365 days. So some people start September 1st and end at the end of May or the middle of June, whenever they finish their days. We don't count our days like that. As soon as we finish one school year, I start the next school year. So on a day like today, where it's kind of rainy and yucky out, we can get some of our classes done, which means that on a nice day, if tomorrow's a really nice day, we can spend the whole day outside and not do school. But that also means that we get to enjoy fall in Maine. And when we go visit Virginia, we will be able to take those days off. Not that I won't do any school during that time, but we'll do more like field trips and things, and I don't have to worry about getting in days if we're just having a fun day visiting. So I hope the water's not too loud behind me, but this is what it is. Speaking of Virginia, we have a new grandbaby on the way. So for those who don't know, Virginia is our daughter who is 22. She is married to Wayland. Shortly after they got married, they were pregnant with a baby, Azariah, and they had a miscarriage, and it was very sad. But God gave them another baby who is Justice. He's almost a year old, and they are now pregnant with their next baby. She has a YouTube channel called This Blessed Life. So if you want to go check her out, she hasn't done any videos recently because she's been up here visiting us, and now she's tired with early pregnancy. But if you hear her mention the name Hopeful, that's what they're calling baby until they know if he or she is a boy and girl and want to give out a name. So name is Hopeful right now. So if you hear that, that's who they're talking about. Anyway, we're super excited for them. And that baby will be due sometime at the start of next year. I don't want to give out any dates because people get too interested in the date, and then they're like, call the mom, and they're like, has baby been born yet? Baby been born yet? And let me just tell you, mom who is overdue or close to her due date wants to tell you, yes, baby's here. They will let you know as soon as they tell you, like as soon as they want to tell you. They are not sitting around waiting for people to ask them another time, has baby been born yet? Because they're wondering too when baby's going to be born. So anyway, also back to the baby announcements things. Virginia had some people say, oh, I knew it. I knew you were pregnant. It's not helpful for anyone who's doing it. If you're really close to her, like not her specifically, but if you're really close to a mom and you notice like, oh, she's been sick more often, that type of thing, maybe. But people you haven't talked to for a while that was like, oh, I knew a pregnancy announcement was coming. You didn't, because sometimes God doesn't choose to bless people with babies right away again. Our little Elisha is older than Virginia's baby, and she got pregnant, and I'm not pregnant yet. I'm okay if I never get pregnant again. It's all in God's timing. But just asking a mom, are you pregnant again? Or saying, oh, I knew you were pregnant. I think we assume too much that a couple who wants to have children is immediately going to have children. And if they are struggling to have a baby, then it's really hard to have people ask. Anyway, off that soapbox. So that's another thing that's been going on in our lives. It is June 18th here. Naomi's been planting the garden. We've been trying to just get stuff done here around the house. It is going to be July 4th soon, which is a big ministry day for us. We are having a parade float where we will be handing out tracts, and we also give out glow sticks at our local fireworks show. Our town has a big 4th of July display. And then we also have Blues Festival coming up, which is music, like a concert festival in the town next to us, which we just use those occasions to go out and preach the gospel. We're not against the blues. We've had people ask us that, but we want to use the opportunity with lots of people around to tell them. There's also Lobster Festival coming up. So we're excited about the ministry opportunities. And so that's just why we haven't gotten a lot of videos out lately. I have a baby over there that I keep eyeing because I'm thinking he might get into something. Anyway, last, we had people comment on our last couple homeschool videos, and we've had a lot of comments. And thank you to my viewers who have stood up for us and appreciate what our family does and appreciate these videos that I'm putting out to share what homeschooling really can be like. I'm really excited to share what homeschooling is. And I've had other people who have said, I'm so sorry you have to deal with those comments and everything. A lot of the people who are commenting, negative comments, are uninformed about what homeschooling looks like. And some of them can ask questions in a very nice way. Like, oh, what are the Maine homeschooling laws? How are you fulfilling those? I don't mind that question at all. The things of your children are going to resent you in the future, your kids are never going to be able to get to college, which I talked to that person. And so I don't mean your comments specifically, but those types of comments that people do. You guys don't know my children. You only know what I'm sharing with you. I'm not sharing their regular daily schoolwork online because if you guys, if the mean ones are going to be that rude to me, explaining what my children do, I don't want my children picked apart by people. And I know there are people out there, I have seen the groups that talk about people's influencer pages, and people are just really, really rude. So I am going to continue sharing my family. I'm going to continue sharing my children, but I'm not going to put things on specifically that people are going to pick apart. Well, my 12-year-old does that better than your 12-year-old. So I am going to continue sharing. I write things to, I write answers to people, or I put answers in these, not because those people get under my skin. I really don't mind those. I'm not the type of person that gets really, really bothered that someone would write those comments to me, but I could just delete them. I know that's totally within my right, and I've had people suggest that I do that. But the reason that I answer the questions is because I want other homeschoolers to know these are questions people might ask you, and here's a way to answer them. So for me, I am not trying to school like the school system. I home educate my children, calling it homeschooling or home education, but I'm trying to educate my children. I'm not trying to just get knowledge in their head. I am trying to get them to learn about who God is and the world that has been made around them. I want them to be able to learn the things that I'm teaching them and to apply them to the real world. So we home educate. We believe that it is the parent's job to do those things. And so we, as a society, have been taught that when your child is 3 years old for preschool or 5 years old going off to kindergarten, that you hand that over to somebody else, that it is very acceptable to put your child on a bus and hand them over to the government school. But nowhere in our Bible does it say that it's their job. And nowhere in our Constitution does it say that it's the government's job to educate our children. There were public schools and private schools way back at the founding of this country, but compulsory attendance was not part of the plan for this country. There are students who should go off to college to learn how to be a doctor, how to be a lawyer. Wait just a minute. Okay. Sorry, I don't know exactly where I was, but if I had a child who wanted to go into being a doctor or a lawyer, it is very important that they go get the skills they need and possibly go off to a vocational school, if that is the type of job they're going to do, possibly go off to college, those types of things. But there's a lot of learning before they go into that specialty that can be taught at home. The founding fathers did have people going off to these other schools. The founding fathers just did not feel that it was the government's job to tell every parent how to raise their child and school their child. And we have handed that over to the government. And a lot of people have handed that job also over to the churches, where they say, okay, we go to church and my child goes to Sunday school and then they go to youth group. So their spiritual upbringing has been taken care of. But as parents, we are told to do that job also. And so our family, Mark and I, choose to keep our children home so that we can teach them the things of God in the day-to-day as we walk by the way, as we lie down, as we rise up. We can teach them Bible things, and we can teach them the other things, which are all related to God anyway, because God made all the things that work in nature, and he made math, and he made relationships, how we work together. I have a lot of people who have said that it's the school's job to teach knowledge, but it's the parents' job to teach the other things like finances and all of that. But our school systems don't run that way. Our school systems say that you drop your child off and they are essentially the state's child for the time that they're there. You can try to see how that works in a lot of schools. If you wanted to go pick up your kid, you're not allowed to walk into their classroom. So they have taken over your child for that time. And a lot of schools, especially here in Maine right now, there was a quote not that long ago by the head of education, somehow someone up near the top, saying that the reason our test scores are so low is because the schools really need to concentrate on the ESL, the emotional and social learning, where they are teaching, here in our state, they're teaching kids that they can choose, oh, I was born a boy, but I want to be a girl. And I think it's important to teach people that you are enough how God made you. So Josiah has cerebral palsy and epilepsy. I'm not going to tell him that he's less than because he was born in a way that is different than another person. We're going to work with his strengths. We're going to work with his weaknesses, and we are going to make him the best Josiah that he can possibly be. And to tell little Billy that, Billy, I understand that you don't feel good enough being a little boy. So here, let's make you a little girl. No, we're going to say, little Billy, you are great how you are. How can we make little Billy be the best little Billy he's going to be in the way that he's already been made? So there's a lot of reasons that I won't have my children in public school for just the regular learning. Again, I'm not saying that they won't ever be able to go off to college or anything like that, but I think you need to make really firm choices in where you're sending them also, because we just saw a quote by an astrophysicist who is a Christian. He was a Christian. His name's Jason Lyle. You can go look this up. He was a Christian before he went off to college, but he went to a secular school, and he said that his biblical worldview was not, like his worldview was not correct, not biblical when he left the school because of the teachers and the teaching that went on. And this happens in Christian colleges also. So being very careful that you've set a good foundation for your kids and that you're also discussing it with them while they're away at school. So we have a bunch of naysayers. My children are exactly where I feel that they should be. The school mandate tells me what subjects I need to teach, but they don't tell me where, like, how I need to teach those. So I teach those in the way that I feel makes the most sense for each child, depending on what they are going to be. I had people that think because we are giving them a high school diploma, but from homeschooling, that they are not doing the work necessary to graduate high school. But I went off to high school. I graduated with honors, and I went for 1 year of college. The reason I did not do more college is because I chose to get married and have children. It wasn't because I didn't do well at college or anything like that. I know what is needed to graduate at the base level because I knew people in my class who needed to test a few times so that they could actually walk with us and get a high school diploma. But I also knew what it took to get into college level classes, and I was a good student. So I'm not saying you can't homeschool if you're not, like, if you were a bad student. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is for the people that say, oh, well, your child's just getting an inferior education. They're actually not. I know what's needed, and there are a lot of homeschool programs out there that will help you get what your child needs to the quality that they need it. So if you have questions about that, like actual legitimate questions that you would like to know how you can do this for your child, please ask below. If you have questions and you just want to tear apart my family, you could go find another channel because you probably have something better to do with your time, like learn a new hobby, or like if all you're doing is trying to tear apart my family. Seems like there'd be better things to do with your time. But if you're here because you actually have genuine questions and you want to see how other people think and how other people learn, go ahead and ask those questions. Just please be respectful about it, because there are parents out there who are not as firm in their beliefs in being able to teach their children who are watching my channel, and they're also reading the comments, and I don't want them to feel like they may be less than. If you have questions, please direct them at me, and I will try to answer to the best of my ability. But I don't want my channel to just be a place where people can tear each other apart, because I know there's mean people in this world. So I will answer the questions, and hopefully I'm answering in a respectful way, but it can get a little hard when people are being disrespectful. So thank you. We will see you guys next time on Herding Little Cows to the Glory of God.